Welcome everybody to another episode of Cho Thoughts. I, of course, am the Big Cho. My man Big E's right over there. Uh Sorry we took a week off, you know, and just we're thinking about. I was actually talking to Eric about maybe like filler episodes. That way we could just have something in case people ask what's going on. We have lives. End of the day, that's it. So, but that's nothing we could do, But in the same sense, Um, I have a lot going on. Eric has a lot going on. Um, but I mean, at least this week they get two, right? They get two this week.
Yeah.
So you didn't get anything last week. You got two next week or this week. So, um, the midst of my chaos that's going on right now, um, my house is being worked on, and um, my house is in complete disarray. That's why I'm from another location today and part of the house. By next week, I'll be back where I am, or I'm actually going to have the other room done, which I will be recording in from now on. Um, but with that comes working with your parents, specifically my dad. So, needless to say, I don't mind his help. He's a huge, tremendous help when I'm not working or when I'm working. But on the weekends, I mean, you get it. I get chaotic. I have a lot going on, especially if I have Xander, um, even for the most part. But Sunday, he came over, no brandy, no Xander was here. By the way, tremendous help. He was helping out me and my dad getting involved in some of the projects. He was spackling and scrubbing and doing some measurements and just really being involved. And I was really excited about that. But I digress. Then there's my dad. So my dad we're ripping up a window in the hallway, and he and I see this deep hole that it's about had to be about good 4 feet. So he goes, gets spray foam out of the car, goes in, and he fills it. I was like, "You're gonna fill that whole fucking thing full of spray foam." Oh, I know, but if I do, I got to do it. Okay, fine, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just letting them know. I don't care. I'm just letting them know. So he's spraying, 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 and he thinks he got it. While he's doing that, I'm in here spackling and washing like the walls and getting them ready for like to sand and paint. So I'm not even paying any attention to him, and he comes in with the scraper, and it's full of like spray foam on the top of it. And I just thought he just itched the top. It's fine. So he comes in, tosses it in the trash, done. So I go back to doing what I'm doing. Then all of a sudden I hear him just like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "What's the matter? What's wrong with you over there?" And he's like, to the certain point of the spray foam, I wish my dick was like this spray foam. That when I spray it, it just keeps growing. And I just lost it. Like, I just fucking lost it. I was like, so if your dick was spray foam, if you spray it, it just keeps growing. And then he's like, yeah, exactly what I said. And in my mind, I was like, thinking, did you understand what you said? Because I understood what the fuck you said. And then he was like, that's when he looked at me. He's like, well, it's the truth, our truth. And I didn't even fucking think he knew who our truth was. So I was like, okay. And then he just comes in and it's like stuck to him, it's stuck to his hands. And I told you about my hands being stuck with spray foam. So it's 20 times worse with him.
Yeah.
You know, the fucks, motherfucks, all this and whatnot and rant and raving. But the thing is, he's doing it in the middle of the house. So Xander can't really hear him. But from yonder, you hear Xander go, "We don't say that, pap pap." And all of a sudden, I was waiting for him to be like, "What? Fuck, motherfuck, whatever." I was like, but my dad was like, "That's right, Xander. We don't say this." And he come walking into the dining room area where I'm at now, and he was like, "Fuck, motherfuck, shit, fucking pissed." He fucking just started rambling on. But like we're getting it done. Of course, it's a house project and no project. I don't know if I'm the only person out there that wants that. Like a project that should be 10 minutes is like 3 hours. A project is like 3 hours is 3 weeks. Like it never gets done. And then, of course, on top of that, I'm realizing I'm a homeowner. So I get it. So I have that going on. Um, of course, I was at two nieces' birthday dinners this weekend. Uh, Friday we went to my niece Riley's 21st birthday party. We didn't want to drink at first, but then got peer pressured by our friends, and I looked at her. I was like, "They're gonna do that often. Like, just buckle up, suck it up, Buttercup. It's gonna happen.
Word.
Word, wepa." But she ended up finally drinking something, and then my mom, typical Darlene, steals the margarita glass, steals a bottle of ketchup. We don't know. But the worst part is we were coming out and she was pulling out the ketchup in the margarita glass. And my stepdad, Kevin, was like, "Did you really steal a fucking ketchup bottle?" And I was like, "You're worried about the ketchup bottle? Not the margarita glass and the ketchup bottle? Okay." But we were saying to one of her friends, Patty, we were like, "Well, at least you have ketchup for college. You know,
Yeah.
hey, at least you have something." So I mean, it was cool. It like kind of hit me that she was 21. Like, wow. It was like, well, they're all growing up so fast. And then the next day, I go with you to Red Robin for Jane's birthday. That that was interesting too. Just
Yeah.
because, like, fuck, man, they're getting so fucking big so quick. Like, they're getting old, which makes us older. And it's just, but I mean, that was fun. It was nice to go to the ball. Obviously, you're wearing your hat. You got your little stitching on.
Yeah, I had to get the good old Johnny Johnny Hockey on the side there.
Yeah. So my dad ended up telling me the story of how he passed too.
Oh yeah, the drunk driver.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate for people that don't know anything about it?
So yeah, so if you're not into the hockey world or just I mean it was all over the news in general. So it's Johnny Gaudreau. He played for the Columbus Blue Jackets currently, but he was drafted and spent the early part of his career, the first I want to say 9 years with Calgary. Um, he was one of the great hockey player. From what we're learning from a lot of stories and things being told, like just a great dude in general, which doesn't surprise me because he just seemed like he gave that vibe. Like if you ever met him or come across him, like he's just a really cool dude.
Yeah.
Which most hockey players are. But yeah, just a young dude. He just turned 31 at the beginning of August.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Him and his brother played hockey too, but his brother never made it to the pros. They played college hockey together at Boston University. And then his brother, I don't know if he ever tried to go to the pros or whatever the deal was. But yeah, his brother Matthew, he didn't go as far as Johnny did in the hockey career, but he coached for high school hockey or like their local hockey.
Yeah.
They're originally from like the Philly, Jersey area. Um, and I guess at this point it's been almost 3 weeks. They were back home for their sister's wedding. Obviously, both of them being they're in their sister's wedding. They got up. I think it was Friday morning when it was a Friday morning. They got up to take like just a bike ride. They're athletes. They just want to stay in shape to go take a little bike ride along the wherever.
Yeah.
And a drunk driver, obviously not knowing he was drunk at the time, it wasn't until he got apprehended by the police.
Yeah.
Um, he he went to swear. I guess he was being impatient and he didn't want to wait to get around the two vehicles that were in front of him. So I don't know if it was like a bike lane like we have here in Pittsburgh, or if it was just a median or something that they were riding along with their bikes.
Yeah.
But whatever this extra lane was, he tried to cut around the other cars and just ran up behind them and ran them over. Like
Jesus
they were
Christ.
they were killed on, like they were pronounced
They
dead
were, yeah, pronounced that on site.
on scene. Yeah. Um so it hit the
Good
hockey world
Lord.
hard, you know. I just watched because I missed it because I think I was at bowling. I was somewhere the other night when they did this, but both teams, Calgary and Columbus, did a candle vigil for him because there was large memorials growing outside the entrances of both arenas because
Yeah.
he was just that loved in the hockey world. But he kind of flew under the radar. Like he wasn't a guy that was always like in the media. Like he wasn't like your Sidney Crosby's, your Ovechkins, your um, you know, whoever. You can pick a big star pretty much from every team. Like that's out. At least in the media and in the news.
Hmm.
Um, he kind of flew under the radar that way. Um, but he was beloved in the hockey world. So these memorials were growing. So I think both organizations realized that they needed to do something, especially now that time has passed, and
Yeah.
they let the family, do what they had to do, grieve and whatnot.
Right.
So the other night they held a candle vigil um, outside of Columbus and then outside of Calgary's arena. And it was really cool. They had, former teammates and current teammates, because I said he played for two teams. They spoke, and like coaches and owners of the organization spoke and told stories like behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
about him. And there was like hundreds of fans, like tons and tons of fans that showed up for it. Again, that's just how respected he was and loved in these communities. Because that was the other thing. He just wasn't just a star player on the ice. Like he's one of those guys that gave back to the communities, worked with youth and different organizations and stuff like that. And he was a father himself. He was married, has two little kids.
Wow.
So he has two kids, a son and a daughter that lost their dad. So yeah, it was crazy, and it's just that old thing. Like I think we have said it multiple times. Just in our like talkings about like our party days and stuff like that. But it's even more prevalent now. Like just don't drink and drive. Like that's my biggest fear. Like
It's
I
just
know,
basic. It's just simple anymore. Don't do it.
like I my biggest fear is like I'm gonna get killed in a car accident because of somebody else's driving, not my own.
Right.
Like I feel like I'm a pretty safe driver, but especially intersections, like I always get like this weird cautious, like I almost like go extra slower through intersections just because I'm afraid that like somebody's gonna blow a red light or something dumb, you know what I mean? Because like I feel like drunk driving accidents and deaths are becoming more and more relevant, which you think it wouldn't be with all of the ride sharing and technology that's out there for people to you don't have to drink and drive. Like
Yeah, 100%. Like it wasn't that way when we were in our 20s. Like, you know what I
no,
mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like it's changed so much just from like our party days when we were younger, and it's not even like that was that long ago. I mean, as
No,
everybody knows, like technology has changed the world so
drastically.
much. And
Yep.
it's just like, there's Ubers, there's Lyft, there's just pick up. You have a fucking cell phone in your pocket nowadays. We didn't have that option. You had to
No,
find a payphone, you know what I mean?
right.
But nowadays you have a phone in your pocket. Just pick it up and even call somebody. I guarantee you got a friend or family member that would rather you call them and bother them for a ride than you get in the car drunk and either kill somebody or kill yourself. Like
Yep.
it's just crazy. So it's a sad situation that this family lost a brother, husband, father. You can go down the list of
Yeah.
titles that they have. And again, this poor girl now, she lost her two brothers the day before her wedding. Like, it's like, what do you do there? Like, do you postpone everything? Like, or do
Yeah,
you
like you're in quite a predicament,
you
you know.
try to carry on? Because I mean, I would hope that like your caterers and things of that nature, you know what I mean? All your
I'm
people
sure
that
like Yeah, I'm sure everybody would be fully understanding about it, but
Well, and that's like I said too. It was so in the media that it was like if you knew who the family was, you know what I mean, like that they would
yeah.
understand the situation. But yeah, so that's the story. Well, that was the long version, but
No,
um,
that's fine. I mean,
yeah, that's what it was. So that's I had the Calgary hat. Um, so yeah, when we were out the mall over the weekend, I had the guy stitch a little 13 on there for his number. And if you follow me on any socials, I changed my profile picture to a 13 on some of them. I don't think I hit up all of them, but yeah, just to pay my respects because that's my sport. We've talked about it plenty of times on here before. Like that's the hockey world I live in. So it sucked. You know what I mean? It just and then watching some of the memorial things, it was I don't want to say it's odd, but just you see these hockey guys like who are supposed to be big tough dudes, and they just I mean his one teammate who I guess from the way he was talking is also kind of like his best friend. Like he broke down. He could barely get through part of his little I don't want to say speech, but his moment. Like he could
yeah,
barely get through it without crying.
right.
Um, so yeah,
What's
it's
crazy
that
is my dad will still at 42 tells me that his phone is always on for like an emergency
yeah.
in case I am too drunk to drive. And I've told him I was like,
I mean, all my friends know that. Any of you guys know that. Like, I mean, friends, family, whoever. Like, I'd rather you call me. I want to be irritated. You call me at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning to get picked up because you're drunk. But I'd rather get a phone call saying, "Hey, I'm too drunk. Can you take me home?" Than me get a phone call from senior or your mom like, "Hey, Paul was in a major car crash. Like, they don't know if he's gonna make it or some shit, or he's dead." Like, you know,
right,
there's
right,
two different phone calls. I'm gonna be irritated with both, but one I'm gonna probably be a little more devastated by.
right.
So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah,
so don't do it, people. It's just not worth it
nah. And
nowadays.
we'll touch more on the phone call you got a little bit later in the show.
Yeah,
But on a lighter
but yeah.
note,
So yeah, we the weekend though. Yeah, we had celebrated Jane's birthday because her birthday is on the 10th, but we're a little we're busy as shit, and she's a teenager now. Well, I mean, she's been a teenager, but she's getting into that adult world, and her friends want to take her out for dinner, and I'm not going to deny her. I'm like, oh, well, it's your birthday. You got to spend it with mom and dad. So she's going to go out to dinner with her friends and spend the evening with them. So again, that's why we
have some cinnamon butter.
cinnamon butter. Yeah, they're going to take her to the Texas Roadhouse, and then yeah, so that's why we did what we did Saturday, and you guys were supposed to meet up with us anyway. So that's why I was like,
Yeah,
join us, like more the merrier.
yeah.
So that was good. It was nice. It was like, me and you were talking though. It was so weird just walking around the mall as adults compared to teenagers. What the hell? You died. Well, folks, I think we lost him. Yeah, maybe. Um. Oh no.
I don't know. So the one rule I have is don't call me when we
Uh,
record, and of course somebody has to call me.
I was keeping them busy.
Good. I'm just making sure you led the show. If you led the show, I don't care.
I just kept saying, "Oh no," but I mean,
Well, what's funny is I saw them come through. So whoever called, don't fucking call me again. And when we do this show, I always put it on vibrate or silence. And I don't know, somebody got through. Story of my life right now. But uh when it called, it all went black. I saw it. I watched it.
yeah, it
And
went
then
black on me then too.
I thought, okay, when the phone call's over, I'll come back and be like, oops, my bad.
Yeah,
So and then it ended and I was like, where the fuck I go?
yeah. We just
So
saw black screen, and then you
Sopranos.
disappeared, and it was just me.
Sopranos all day. Don't stop believing. I'm sorry. You were saying.
Anywho, we are talking about the mall. I was saying
Yeah.
how we felt how weird it was being an adult at the mall compared to when we were teenagers, and then we saw that group of kids getting kicked out and shit. It was
By
like,
fucking Paul Blart.
like it was just, it was yeah. I mean, I guess for me, like it is a little weird, but then like I worked in the mall world for how long?
Mm-hmm.
What, almost 9 years? Like 9 years. I worked for Lids, so I still was in that world, but so I'm used to like this new generation of teenagers and their idiocy that they pull in malls.
Well, what did I tell you, bro? I was like, I'm waiting for one of them to just pull up his phone. Pull up his phone. Like
Yeah, because they were trying to egg on that cop, like,
they were. And then the one kid had his phone like right here in the bottom of his hand.
yeah,
And I was like, why like one, I was thinking, why is he holding it? But then everything popped into play. Like,
because they're trying to, and then they'll post it on whatever and try and get the clickbait or try to be cool with, their other social friends and whatever. Like, and that's the thing, like I was telling you, like, that's the thing with malls nowadays is it's just like, I mean, even when we were, like, like I said, we were talking about, like, when we were younger and we'd go to the mall as teenagers, we still went there with a purpose. Like, all right, we're going to hit up, we're going to hit up, the video, we'll hit up the movie shop, we'll hit up, Suncoast Video, go across the mall, hit up Media Play, get some new CDs because yes, we had to buy our music physically back then.
or they would ask,
Um,
or they would just tell Paul which, what they needed.
yeah, and then you would hit up like a shoe store or two. You know what I mean? Hit up a Foot Locker, Finish Line because that's really all we had back then.
Well,
And then you would hit up
Champs was there, but then like
yeah,
Champs became Champs.
and then you would hit up a couple clothing stores. You know what I mean? Like hit up
Yep.
hit up like I mean again back then for us you hit up like Aeropostale or um some people we knew. I mean we would go in, but we never really shopped. I guess we would.
I
Uh,
wouldn't because his shit wouldn't fit.
at Hot Topic. Like,
I was like Hot Topic, different story, or Spencer's or something like that. But
yeah, Spencer's, yeah. Well, but again, yes, we were teenagers in a mall. Yes, we would, you know, say dumb shit or maybe do slightly something dumb.
yeah, but it wasn't
But
like
we weren't in there causing major problems and annoying the workers like these kids nowadays do.
do it deliberately. Like
Yeah. And then
yeah,
again, they're doing it all just so they can record it, put it on their phones, put it on their social media, and they think they're cool. And then again, the area that we were in, won't mention it, but those kids out there are on a whole nother level because they think that they're entitled. So they feel like they can do whatever they want, say whatever they want, and there's no repercussions for it.
that's called white privilege, children. Oh
It
come on, bro. They were just they were edging on it.
no, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like they think that yeah, mom and dad will bail me out because they coddle me because we can't yell at kids nowadays.
Yep.
I will smack the fuck out of a kid.
Right. I was like, dude, just go. Just fucking go. Just leave them
I know
alone.
they were irritating us, and we weren't even
Right. Just fucking leave. Just
they
leave.
weren't, they weren't even bothering us really. They were
I know.
fucking
I
with
was
us.
about to get the old bouncer days. I'd be like, all right, get. Just
Yeah,
get. Like you and I were discussing, it's like, yo, he's a mall security guard. He don't gotta deal
yeah,
with that shit.
no.
He don't want to deal with that shit. He don't give a fuck about you and your jabrones. Like he don't care. He just wants to go back in, get a fucking free fucking orange Julius or something,
We don't have that in that mall anymore.
some ramen.
He definitely get some ramen, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he went over and got free steak fries. Who knows?
Get a little food poisoning with that ramen.
Yeah, no, that was. I was like, it smelled good. The one restaurant.
Yeah, that
You
Mediterranean.
were like, don't go there. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Again, working in that mall for as long as I did, like, 'cause I was like, I was telling Brandy that when you and Xander, oh, when you were inside paying, me, Brandy, and Xander went outside and we're waiting, and you, Dawn, and Jane were paying for stuff.
Yeah,
I was telling her that, like, that was like, for me, like, that mall, that was the mall I worked at the longest. Like, I had two different runs at that mall, with lids, and um, I got to know that food court the best because if you're a fan of lids, you know they're always by a food court. Um, so I've seen some shit at that mall that just I'm like, nope. But yeah, that I told you that place, like they get they get a violation from the Board of Health or whatever, and then what they'll do is they just shut down, like do like a cosmetic remodel, like maybe paint the walls or and change their menus or whatever, and then they rebrand as a different name, and then they reopen, and then they get away with whatever. Like,
and then just proceeded to get shut down again, and then do it again.
yeah, that specific one that you looked at has been probably 12 to 15 different names.
Wow.
And then there's another one that's across the food court from it. It's like a Japanese, like a stir fry type place.
Like an
And
Ichiban or something.
yeah, and they always do like they have like a mall special. It's like you get like fried rice and then like either chicken or steak or something with it. And it's like $5. And like all the mall employees used to go get it because it's a quick, cheap meal.
Yeah,
And then
for
like
sure.
again, all the teenagers go get it. But the shit that I know from that place, and you know me, I don't eat that stuff anyways. But like
Nah.
if I did, even the Subway there, Jane was out at the mall with her friends the one day, and she was like, she called to see what we were having for dinner, I think it was, and she's like, "Well, we're just gonna eat at the mall. We're gonna get Subway." And I was like, "No, you're not." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "That Subway is fucking dirty. The employees in the morning are too lazy to walk around to the back and go in the door to the restaurant because there's like a maintenance hallway in the back
Yeah.
where all the restaurants have their own doors,
Correct.
and it's in the mall, so it's not like they got to go outside. It's in the mall. It's just on the back part. They would hop the counter and walk all over the counter, like you know how like Subway their counters where they like build your sandwich. It's almost like that
Yeah.
chopping block, that white chopping board types.
Yep.
They're walking on it,
That's gross.
and I've never seen them wipe it down. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
Like,
that's foul,
so
bro.
gross. I'm like, don't eat there. There was only a few places I would eat. The pizza shop there is good. I know that those people were always really up and up on their shit. There was a Mrs. Fields that was good,
You
and
can't
then
go
there was
wrong
a
with cookies.
there was a Taco Bell, and then they lost the licensing for Taco Bell, so they just they kept the recipes and then just made it a regular like a mom and shop taco place, but it basically was Taco Bell food.
I mean, go with what you know, right?
And then the people that owned the pizza shop, there was a Philly cheesesteak place. It wasn't that Charlie's that you normally see
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah,
mall.
yeah,
It used to be called something. It was used to be called like something. The Philly was in the name. I know that it was like Philly steaks or something like that.
yeah,
And again, it was the same people as the pizza joint, so I know they were good too. But any of the like the Subway, or there's like three different Asian spots. Like again, I know one was the Mediterranean you looked at, and there used to be one that was like I think at one point it might even have been like a Panda Express or something. But again, it's just they just what they do is they have a new family member file for a copyright for a new name and new branding,
yeah.
and then they just open back up, but it's the same people. Like,
What a scam!
oh, dude, they were running it, dude,
They're running that scam.
running it. And I was like, I'll never eat. Not that I eat that food, but I just know they got bugs and shit that
I mean, in a way, it's like no, it's
yeah.
gross. But in a way, I kind of respect their intuition. Like,
Well, yeah,
we
as I
got
said,
closed
like
up, change it up.
yeah, you'd see them they close up for like close for remodel or some dumb thing, and then it would just rebrand, and it'd be the same employees, same staff, same.
But this time it's under the sun. Next time it's under the uncle. Next time
Yeah,
it's under the aunt.
that's exactly what they would do. Exactly what they would do.
What a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah,
What a mess, man.
it was crazy. Look, you work in a mall, you learn some shit, bro.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked at Ross Park, I mean, I didn't really have that problem because that's when
Yeah,
I enjoyed having Wendy's in the mall.
yeah.
It wasn't so hard. It was just go up, grab a junior bacon cheeseburger. Hey, who wants some JBCs? And I got like a junior bacon
That
order.
was that was the thing too. Like when we were teenagers, like mall food court malls were different.
Yeah.
They weren't what they are so much now. Um, I mean, I guess now they still do have like name brand places, and then like you said, like Ross Park had Wendy's and shit.
Yeah.
I think every mall had a Subway
Or a chick fucking filet.
or yeah, Chick-fil-A. Hell, when I worked at Robinson, they had a fucking McDonald's in their food court.
Yeah, right. I was shocked that the mall had a fucking Five Below in it.
That's the first I've ever seen a Five Below in the mall.
In a mall.
And
Me
and that's
too.
what I told like that just opened in the past few weeks.
I mean, that's smart. That'd be cool if they were in malls because
Yeah.
it's very convenient. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean in the clientele that you're
you're
kind of
going for is pretty much there in the mall.
and what's smart about that one that they just opened at that mall is it's right next to the Target.
Yeah. So if you
So it's
miss
like
something at Target or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like back
it's
and
right
forth.
there. Yeah, it's that was pretty sweet. Like we because we lost a bunch of stores at that mall. Like the Sears, when Sears went out of business, we lost Sears, and that's where I was teasing. I was like, "What the fuck's this Mauer play, Von Mauer or whatever it was called?" Like I don't know what that's gonna be. I know they've added some because it's so South Hills Village. If anybody knows, like South Hills Village and Ross Park are the same mall company.
Yep.
So, and everybody knows Ross Park is so upscale, and that's what they're trying to do with South Hills now
Yep.
is update everything. Like when they have empty spots, they want newer upscale stores or these, I call them hipster stores.
Well, like Ross Park has like the Tiffany store in it
Yeah.
and Coach Gucci, a Tesla dealership inside of it. Like
We
wild
haven't gotten
shit.
that fancy. We have the Coach store. They don't have Gucci. They have Michael Kors at South Hills. We have that huge, fucking huge ass Apple store. The Target's now connected to the mall. And then a bunch of upscale clothing stores, like more like women's type stuff. They still got a couple of the teenager stores, like your Hollister, Abercrombie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are that's
Amer-
fucking
Amer-
trash.
American Eagle.
American Eagle. And then
Yeah,
you have, the traditional, like there's either a Spencer or Hot Topics or both.
we have Hot Topic, and then like 7 jewelry stores.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Everywhere. I think the mall is just a jewelry store. Like
And then
pretty
we only,
much.
now that I think about it, our mall does not have a Foot Locker. We have Finish Line and Champs,
Yeah, I was like, I didn't see it.
and the Champs that's in there is really big. Yeah, there's no Foot Locker in that mall.
Hmm.
Now that I think about it, that's weird.
If there
Well,
is one, let us know.
well, and then we have the Dick's Sporting Goods attached now too. So they always have as everybody knows, have a huge shoe selection.
Right. Same with Ross Park. And now they have that addition at Ross Park.
Dude, that fucking Mike took me out there. We went out there to go. We were looking for a certain hat. One of the City Connect teams came out with the hat. We went out to that lids to go see if they had it, which we knew was a long shot. But we went out anyways. And then Obviously, they didn't have it, and he's like, "Well, yeah, again, just want to walk on the mall for a little bit." And I was like, "Yeah, I got nothing to do." So we did a little lap, and he goes, "Have you been in the new Dick's Sporting Goods?" I was like, "No." He goes, "Oh, so you don't know?" And I was like, "No, no, I haven't been in there." Dude, he took me in and took me right to that fucking shoe. It's not even a section, dude. It's like a shoe store in a store. Like that shit travels from one entrance, wraps around the wall, down the side, and back to another entrance. I'm like, what the fuck? He was like, I know. And that's not even like, you go into some place like the old Dick's Sporting Goods and stuff like that, you would go in there and they would have like, it'd be sectioned off, but it would be part of this, the shoe area would be like, oh, here's like football cleats or basketball shoes, what I mean, for actually playing the sport.
Yeah.
No, that shit's all in its own area. And that wall is literally just shoes.
Shoes.
And I'm like,
Oh,
how, like,
I'd
dude,
love it. Believe me, I would.
dude, it was so crazy. And then, so it's like, I could see why like another shoe store in that company, in that mall would be difficult to deal with.
Oh, hands down, 100%.
And I mean, and they always have stuff on sale too. Like we went in there, we went in there again. I took Donna with me this time. Me, Mike, uh, Donna, and Jocelyn. It was for Father's Day weekend, I think. Jane was working. We met them out at the mall, and then I think we were going out to lunch or something like that. And we went into that. Donna walked out with a pair of shoes, no plan whatsoever. But it
Right.
was like it was a nice pair of New Balances for like 70 but like 69 $70.
Can't go wrong.
No, I was like, you need a good pair of shoes. Get a good pair of shoes, get them if you like them. She's like, okay.
Right.
Damn, we didn't. Mike was like, told you, get you every time. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, fucking right, they do, man.
Yeah.
Killer.
That's fucking wild. I mean, I was like, when we went and took Xander school shoe shopping,
Yeah.
I was just shocked to come out with two for 100. You know what I mean? So I was like,
You just went to the outlet.
hmm
Yeah, Mike was telling me that's where I think they took Jocelyn out there for her school shopping. And he said the same thing. I don't know if it was the Nike store or whatever store he went into. And so he said he was like, it's just again, you can't pass up like a good deal. As much as
no,
you're like, do I really need them? Do I really want them? Like, want them, yeah, but do I really need
do
them?
I really
Like,
need them?
can I afford them? Like, you know
That
what I
yeah,
mean?
that was
Like,
me. It's like,
but
do
then
I really need them?
you see the deal, and you're like, yeah, I could
I
snag this.
could, yeah, right.
I could make it work. And am I ever going to see this deal again? You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, fuck it, you got to do it.
But that's the best part is because like his black shoes that I bought him, like they are going to be the shoes he wears to homecoming, which will be tomorrow when this airs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So if he's like gonna look all dapper, but with his Nikes on, like I mean, come
yeah,
on. I mean, whose kid is he? Of course he's mine. He's gonna
yeah,
look dapper with a nice pair of fucking Nikes on. But that, I mean, that's crazy. This is gonna be nuts because like he's done best buddies dances and stuff like that, but nothing with the severity of a big one.
yeah,
So I don't know. Me and his mother are like super anxious, super excited. I was a little worried because again, as a special needs parent, I mean, so is his mom. But like if somebody's gonna be there. That's all we wanted. And then we finally got confirmation that there's more kids going, like from his class, and they're gonna have other teachers there. I think our anxiety kind of subdued a little bit. Like it
yeah,
was fine. So that's gonna be. I'm excited for him, and I'm cannot wait to see how amazing he looks on for Saturday. Well, tomorrow.
yeah,
But that's also why um you as like you listeners and viewers will get our little surprise backyard brawl episode. But in hindsight of that, I am leaving so I can make sure I am at my son's homecoming. Football
I don't
games come
know.
and go.
I think the football game is more important.
That's you, not this guy. Um,
I mean, my kids
Big
don't have homecoming, so I don't.
football games come and go. Homecomings are once in a blue moon. So I'm gonna be there. Um, but speaking of that, that's gonna be one hell of a day. So, like I told y'all, you didn't get one last week, you're gonna get two this week. So I was really shocked and like going into this weekend after watching the Pitt game on Saturday, because by halftime I was like, this ain't gonna look good against West Virginia.
I, I,
And
we talked about this. Like, I wasn't going into this pit season like, oh, like this is gonna be the worst. We're gonna go like oh and whatever. Like, I just, I didn't know what to expect because it kind of is like a little bit of a rebuild for the team.
yeah,
You know what I mean? New quarterbacks, new OC, the whole 9 yards. Couple other new players out of the portal and stuff like that. So it's like I didn't know what to expect, and I get it. Everybody keeps yelling at me, especially you. It's only Kent State. They looked so good in that first game, and I'm just basing that off of what they looked like last year. Like again, I know it's a D1 school or whatever. They're not. So I knew that the test was going to be Cincinnati this week, and it's another rival. It's the river rival, and yeah, that halftime score, I was like, "Ooh, shit! What happened? What went wrong from week to week? Like what the fuck?" And they went in halftime, made those adjustments, and came back out. And hey, I'll 1 point. I'll fucking take a 1 point win.
the worst fucking part was I left it on because it was on ESPN too. And I was watching College Game Day because I wanted to watch Pat on College
Yeah,
Game. So one, I had to explain to my father who the fuck Pat McAfee is. That was
yeah,
about a 45-minute fucking discussion.
yeah,
So then after that, the game comes on, whatever. And my dad and I are just taking peeks at it. Randy was doing some running, and like she stayed for a little bit of the game, but then she did some running while we started doing the spackling.
yeah,
She didn't like. I kind of sent her out because like she would have just sat there and she'd have been like all confined.
yeah,
So anyway, he and I are messing around in the living room, and I keep seeing him go like this, and I was like, "Are you interested in the game?"
yeah,
And he was like, "Well, they're fucking being blown out right now," and I was like, "Yeah, I hear it. Like I know."
yeah,
So I was like, "But so I hit him with it too. I was like, "Well, they beat Kent State. He's in the middle of spackling." He was like, "That's fucking Kent State." I was like, "Who you telling?" Like, I was like, "I'm just telling you." So they show halftime, right? And my dad's like, "That's it. They're fucking done." And I was like, "Who knows, man?" I was like, "We'll see as we're finishing up the spackling or whatever." I shit you not. Fourth quarter, my dad's sitting on the fucking couch watching the game. We're not even touching this living room. Like all of a sudden, he's like this, invested in it, just invested in it, and like because Pitt scored, and Dad was like, "What the fuck they going for two for?" He was like, "They're gonna." He was like, "Plus the kicker's fucking me up." My dad in college sports is fucking great. So I was like, "Well, I mean, if they go for two, they can eventually get the lead and whatnot." And he was like, "But they don't need to fucking lead if they at least tie the fucking game." And I was like, "That's even if they get there. Like that's
yeah,
even if they get there. Let's just focus on if they get there first." So we took a little like we called it union breaks. I'll have a smoke, he'll drink some tea, we'll bullshit. Dude, that fucking union break was till the end of the game.
yeah.
Serious.
We were at a baby shower on Saturday, and I was watching it on my phone because I didn't plan on staying for the shower. I was just drop the girls off and then come home. I was gonna do some shit at the house and have the game on, like kind of like you were saying, like you had it just kind of on. I ended up staying in the shower, and then I was like watching it on my phone, and yeah, I was like, whatever, whatever, whatever. So by the time I got home,
That's gonna
it
be
was
a Saturday if something goes wrong. Whatever.
it was halftime when I got home, and then I put it back on. I still wanted to finish the game out. Like,
I
I was
never
like,
changed it. I just
I was
left it
like, let's
on.
let's see what happens. I figured at least, we got that touchdown. I was like, all right, all right. At least show the offense can still move down the field. It was 27-17, I think, or whatever. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, okay. I'm like, no big deal. And then it just kept like steamrolling over and over, and we
Yeah.
got the turnovers and this and that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what?
That's what exactly how I looked at my dad. I was exactly what you said. I looked at him and was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
And like you said, by the time the fourth quarter came, like the last half of the fourth quarter,
Invested.
I was more than invested. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, when we stopped the project, the whole
Yeah.
project to finish watching it, I knew I had my dad. I knew
Well,
I had him.
and then me and you were messaging because again we were supposed to meet up to go out to dinner and stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
like, when are you guys heading in? You were like, after the game, and I was like, no shit, after the game. Like I wasn't like I knew
Yeah.
that you guys were watching it, so I was like, there's no way you're leaving now.
Fuck no. Fan. Fuck ass no.
Yeah. So like I figured at worst case scenario because I didn't know how that Cincy game was going to go. All right, going into the backyard brawl, 1-1. Offense looks better. Defense is still pretty solid. Like, you know, I was like, all right, well, 1-1 going into the backyard brawl shouldn't be that bad.
Hmm.
Now I'm like, 2-0. Offense is looking pretty damn good. We might have a shot at this motherfucker.
Well, look at the fucking confidence in the waiter of fucking Red Robin. He was like, "Oh, we're winning the backyard brawl." I was like, I still wanted to be that guy. Just go, are we though? I
Yeah.
mean, are
I
we?
mean, West Virginia, they got rocked by Penn State that first game, and I meant to look. I think they won on Saturday because again, I don't think they played it. I think they kind of did what we did. Like their first game was against a big opponent, and then they had like a kind of nobody school that
Yeah.
they played on Saturday. I think, if I'm correct, so I think they won. So I think they're going into it 1-1. We're going into it 2-0. But I think I was talking to Mike about it, and it was kind of like this game though. Like records don't mean shit. Like
No, it's
no
who the
one
fuck is
cares.
going to be more physical. Who can get the most point? Like seriously, who can get the most points on the board fast?
Yeah, and I think that seeing the way our offense is, we have a shot now because that Holstein, he's a good quarter. Like he's a good quarterback. Um, he can put it downfield, and then the Reed that's filling in for Hammond, um, he's running the ball like a fucking beast.
A madman. And then
So
um, then some. I forget. Was that Reed that got hurt?
he got hurt in uh the first game that you went
The
to,
Penn State game. Yeah.
the Kent State game. He smacked his ankle off of the defender's knee, and he
Yeah,
limped off the field.
bro, that was ugly.
Yeah,
That
because
was.
the way his ankle bounced off that knee, it was like that was like today. Like I watched McAfee today, and I watched a couple. I think I watched a little. I don't know if it was Sports Center or no. It was last night during the Sunday night game. They kept everybody's keeps re-showing that Jordan Love injury down in Brazil, his knee. Did you
Yeah,
did you see that one?
yeah,
I mean, I feel for the kid, but that just to watch his knee go, I was like,
yeah.
oh god, oh god, like, and they're like, oh, he'll probably be out 3 weeks. What?
The fuck he is, bro. That's not
No,
no.
they said it was just a strain. There was nothing that he didn't tear or rip anything.
Hmm.
It's just that he had his MRI today. They said it's just a strain. He's fine. They said he'll be out 3, possibly 4.
Well, did you Yinzers are all excited? Oh, we're kings of the north. You fucking kidding me right now?
Damn
Don't
right we are.
don't start your shit. You couldn't even
Damn
score a
straight.
fucking touchdown.
Exactly. We couldn't even score a touchdown, and we're 1-0. Everybody else is 0-1. So if we can get touchdowns on the board, guess what? That makes us look even better. And we got a new punter now.
I fucking can't with you right now.
They
Don't
brought
don't
that.
stop.
They brought that.
I was like, here's one for you.
What?
So we were watching the pit game, and oh no, it was Sunday because we take a break, and it was during the Steeler game, and I was getting updates from people like just on the game because I wasn't watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just like because we moved the TV out, unplugged it, shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my dad's like, "What do we got?" I was like, "I don't know. It's like fucking 10-9 or something stupid." I really wasn't paying attention. I was like, "But hey, the Buccos are winning." All of a sudden, my dad is from the fucking hallway. Yeah, Bucktober, woo! I was like, "Stop, please, just stop, stop."
We
He's like,
were.
"Oh." He's like,
We
"Oh
were.
yeah, Paul Skeens, he's the man." I was like, "You sound like somebody I know."
He's pitching
Like,
right now, bro. Paul Skeens is pitching right
I was like, "You
now as
sound
we
just like my
record this.
fucking co-host, bro. Like so bad."
Let me tell you right now. Look at
Like,
that. Paul Skeens is pitching right now, and we're fucking winning 3-0.
are we going to the playoffs?
Maybe not.
Let's see. We'll see. We'll see.
No, they're not.
I know they're fucking not, bro.
No, but they said that we still. They were just talking about it today. It was
Don't you start.
an ESPN report. No, they might. Word around the field is they might bring up our other ace pitcher that's in the minor leagues and see how he like give him a couple, tries up here in the big leagues. I just want him to come up because I love his name. You thought Paul Skeens was a guy. I was waiting for them to bring up Bubba. Good old Bubba Chandler.
Tell me his name is for real, not Bubba Chandler.
It is. His name is fucking Bubba Chandler.
I love it.
He's got some long lettuce. He got the long hair.
Yeah.
He's
That's a
he's
Bubba.
he's 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 good. I mean, he's not like Paul Skeens good, but he's a really really good pitcher. But now, yeah, it's. Uh, I mean, I we were at a little two little sisters. Their birthdays are close together, so the parents just have them one big party.
Yeah.
Smart move. So we pull up. It's out. I was out here at South Park at like one of the like little barn buildings or something, and we were one of the first ones there. And we pull up, and I see this little, like a tailgate pop up tent outside, and I'm like, oh man, they expanded to the outside because last year it was just inside.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, they got picnic tables and stuff set up outside. That's cool, dude. The little girl's dad, he was not playing around, bro. He had two flat screens set up out there. It was the guys section, dude. He had two flat screens. One was strictly just the Steelers Falcons game. The other TV was Red Zone,
My fucking guy right there.
dude. And that's all, pretty much all the guys. We just were all sitting out there at picnic tables. He set up this little Steelers. He has this. It's called a tailgate table. It's like a circle, but it's almost like
Mhm.
a pop up, like a campy chair.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Bro, look, we got." He goes, "We don't got alcohol drinks in the party, but I got." So they had like one of the dudes pickup trucks had like a
Of
fucking.
course, the pickup truck had the right there,
They
right
were
there.
drinking. They were, dude, and it was so funny because they were drinking. They were drinking some Modelo's. That me, I made that comment when we were out to dinner. I was like, "Wow, they got Modelo on the list of beers," and that's what they were drinking. I was like, "Man, some Modelo's." But
Meanwhile, that fucking theme music's playing in the background, like do 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 do. Like
yeah,
meet
so
Phil, the guy who sets up the tailgate in the back.
so we're watching this. We're watching the Steeler game. Nothing but field goals. Flipping through red zone. These guys are all talking about their like, they're gamblers, so they got money on games and this and that, and they got parlays and all. And I'm like, I just do fantasy. I don't know. And the one other dude said he has a fantasy team, but most of them were all talking about betting. And then here's my random ass in the middle. They're all talking football and betting and this and that. And I looked at my phone. I was like, if anybody's interested, Pirates are winning. They all looked at me like, who gives a fuck? Like, I was like, I just put it out there.
They were not having it.
No, they were
I
too
was
early.
like, like the nip in the air, it's like sweater weather, sweater
Yeah,
weather. But that nip in the air for Yinzers is like it's football season. Nobody gives a
yeah,
flying fuck about baseball anymore.
no,
Like that's it, bro. They
yeah.
get
So
over
I
it.
just was like, hey, Pirates are winning if anybody cares. And I think the one guy did. There was this one guy there. He was a character. Uh, I don't know his name, so therefore I can't put him on blast. But my man had on the khaki cargo shorts with like their shoes, but they look like a hiking shoe. You know what I mean? They got them good treads on them.
It wasn't the toes, were they?
No, 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 no. No, these were heavy duty. These were heavy duties. It was a black T-shirt that was in an honor of a fallen police officer. Respect, you
Okay.
know what I mean? Give him
Hmm.
respect,
That's fine. It's fair.
dude. He had some stunner shades on. He had some. They weren't Vipers, but they were.
They didn't have no panty droppers.
No paint droppers, but they were close. They were close. They were more. Yeah, they were close. And then just a random fucking cowboy hat.
We're gonna call him Mitch.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the deal. So we're sitting there, and he's old school, dude. Old school football. He's just sitting there on this bench, arms crossed. Those fucking Steelers, man. Oh, what the fuck? You reminded me of like been like your dad or something. You know what I mean? Bitching. Well, they can't fucking throw the ball. You know what I mean? Like just bitching. And then a fucking commercial comes on. It was Travis Kelsey, his commercial for the Pfizer COVID vaccine. Dude was already pissed off about the Steelers. He was not feeling that commercial. He's like,
No.
"What the fuck is this shit? Fucking propaganda."
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god. He went from one end of the spectrum to the other. He was just universally pissed.
he's like, we're in fucking political season when they got COVID commercials, and
Oh yeah.
I was like, well, no, it's actually getting to be that time of year now where people get COVID shots like you get your flu shot every year. Ah, fuck that shit. They ain't sticking me with that fucking nonsense.
You ain't
I
turning him, bro.
was like, yeah, all right.
My
I
dude ain't
walked away.
having it.
I was like, Donna, drinks are inside, right? I'm gonna go get a pop. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, like, it's like on that note,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go in.
yeah.
I'll be back when the commercial's over.
Dude, I left Donna's sister sitting there. She's on crutches. She couldn't move. I was like, see ya. We can,
I'm sorry,
we,
but you're boned.
you can talk to him. I'm not. Like, he just was not having it. Like he was already irritated that they weren't throwing the ball. Oh, we're supposed to be a fucking running team. I don't see nobody running. And then fucking Naj breaks off that like little 10, 15 yarder or whatever he had
There he
like kind of
goes.
early. Yeah, no, he wasn't even happy with, oh, we get one. I was like, yep, you're
That's
that.
the thing. Hands down say about Pittsburgh fans. They're
Yeah.
never happy. They're never
No,
happy.
they talked about
Never.
that today. They talked about that today on McAfee because they were talking the Steeler game and stuff like that, and Pat brought it up. He goes, "Hey, your guys are number one in the AFC North. 1-0. You're top dog." And Tone Diggs was like, Yingers will find something to bitch about." Like,
That's the truth. It's the fucking truth. It'll always be something.
and right
And the
now
thing
it's the
is,
whole
like,
Russell Wilson. Like everybody's
yeah,
still bitching about Russ and the Justin Fields, the quarterback decisions and stuff like that. And it was just like, whatever. Like,
right.
and then they got on a whole thing. They brought Mark Kaboli on because he was in the locker room reporting for McAfee's show, and he evidently reported out that Russell Wilson was being pouty. Like,
Well, that was kind of like, so yesterday I went and I dropped Xander off to his mom early because I had to fix something with his mom. And just I was talking with her brother TJ about the game and stuff like that. And I was like, well, who started? He was like, Fields. And then Ashley's like, oh, because Russ is injured. I just looked at both of them and I was like, is he though? Is he?
they said that he from the reports from like the sidelines or whatever. The reports were he was trying to play. Like he kept saying, "I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." But they said that the Steelers medical team told him no. They're the ones that held him back and said that they didn't want to take a risk because it's that stupid calf thing that he had all. preseason. So
Yeah.
they said that they didn't want to take a risk, and I guess they felt. Listen, I get it. Like, there's people out there that like thinks that Fields should be the starter and that he's going to be great for the offense with his getting out of the pocket and running and stuff like that. And there's
Mhm.
other people that are like, no, like Russ still got it. He can put the ball down the field. Da da da. Like, I just look at it this way. Like, and then there's people that think that the quarterback room is horrible, and I'm like, but look at what we had last year. Like this, I don't care who starts. It's better than what we fucking had last year.
Yeah.
Like both of these guys were starting quarterbacks on a team. Where are our guys at? Kenny's in Philly getting booed.
Yeah, because we booed him at the pick game.
Yeah, Rudolph is backing up in Tennessee,
Yep. And
and
Trubisky's in Buffalo.
unless something major happens in Tennessee, like Will Levis is not going to get pulled.
Mm.
And then yeah, and like you said, and then what's his name's up in Buffalo, and I don't even know if he's the second string or if he's the third string. Like I don't
I
know
think
what.
he's second behind Allen. But there
So
again,
and again,
they're all
yeah, he's
backups of like major quarterbacks.
yeah. So it's like yeah, they're good backup roles, but we were trying to make them a starter. Like,
Correct.
and I always said that like I felt that Mitch would have been yes a good backup to Kenny, so that Kenny can. But the Kenny project didn't work out, as we all know. Like,
Well, Kenny became a
it,
little bitch.
yeah, that too. So it's like I feel like our quarterback room right now is so much better than what it was last year. Is it better than some other teams? No. We don't have Patrick Mahomes. We don't have Lamar Jackson. We don't have Josh
Brock
Allen
Purdy, nothing.
Or Brock Purdy or whoever. Like, I mean, I don't know. Fucking Atlanta paid a whole bunch of money for Kirk Cousins, and he didn't look too good yesterday.
I saw highlights. He did not. But I tell you what, J.J. Watt look a fucking monster.
Yeah, he's in rare form. I mean, that's game one.
I know.
He came out. That's what we, I was watching again a lot of McAfee today, and they were saying like that Steelers defense, like Watts. I mean, coming off of another good year as usual, but hopefully he stays a little bit healthier this year because he did have a few problems last year. And then just our front line, our front defensive line, like Cam Hayward, uh, Okanobi's back, I think.
Yeah.
And then somebody I can't think of the other lineman, but anyways, like, and then you got Patrick McQueen, and I wasn't sure about our secondary because I wasn't too familiar with the guys they brought in off of like free agency. I wasn't sure, but the two interceptions that we got yesterday were the two free agents that we brought in. So I'm like, oh fuck, and then you still got Porter Jr., you still got Minka.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, fuck, yeah, this team. If the offense can get a better feel, like maybe next week or the week after, like again, they always say offenses take that first week or two to gel.
Mm.
Our defense, fucking,
It's gelling.
I mean, it's like they almost picked up right where they left
Left
off.
off. I'm
So
just
they said
jealous of you that you got a chance to watch 7 hours of commercial free fucking football.
we did, and then he shut off the Atlanta game. The once the Steeler game was over, he just had it was just red zone for the rest of the party.
Mm. I miss those days.
Yeah, and then I came home. I finished watching the Dallas Cleveland game, and then I watched the Sunday night game. But I
Yeah,
didn't finish. I fell asleep watching that.
I usually do. Even if the Steelers are playing, I fall asleep. If it's a Monday night game, I fall asleep too.
I might peep in on the tonight's game. Like it just started. Uh, I'll peep in on it just because I want to see how Rogers does finally. Like, can he make it past 4 plays? And
Yeah.
then I have Brandon Ayuk on my fantasy team, so I kind of need him. I don't need him to have a good game. Like I'm losing by 4 points.
Oh yeah. All you need to
So
do is a couple yard catches, and he should be fine.
yeah. So that's what I mean. I was talking to Mike earlier, and Mike was complaining because the person he's playing in his fantasy league, they had Boswell on their team, and he was like, "Dude, that Boswell killed me." And I was like, "I bet it did." He was like, "What?" He was like, "Why? Did you play against somebody that had him too?" And I was like, "Nope, I have him." I was like, "That motherfucker."
Right?
He had like 25, 26 points or something like that. Just
Yeah,
the kicker.
just a kicker. Those are a rarity.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll I'll take it. And then I don't know if he gets credit for the kick. Like he was punting. I don't know what kind of credit I get for him
Yeah,
punting.
right. I don't know. It all depends on your league. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was like, whatever. But yeah, no. So yeah, I gotta. I said I'll peep in on it. I want to check out Raw tonight more than anything, just because season debut was it season opener? I don't know.
For SmackDown, like on
Or for
Fox or
Raw.
whatever. Yeah.
No, no, no. Raw's is tonight too,
Okay.
dude. They're in Calgary.
Yeah, because Bret Hart's showing up.
Red Hart is showing up, dude. The match card for today got leaked earlier. I don't think it was a secret, but it got so yeah. They'll have Brett come out. I don't know if he's gonna open it or whatever. And then they're having that number one contenders match for what's his name for Braun, and then uh the women. There's another three-way women's tag match.
And then there's the 8-man tag or 8 people tag with the Wyatts and Chad Gable's people.
Yes, yes. And then there was something else too. Hold on, I have it here. Did I disappear?
No.
Oh, that's good. It just popped up on my thing.
I mean, but if
'Cause there was
somebody calls you and it goes black, I'll be like, he just got Tony Soprano'd. That's fair. All this dead air.
Scottish
James
Warrior
Brown.
returns tonight.
What?
The Scot the Scottish Warrior.
Oh yeah. Big old Drew. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to say whatever happened on Raw on Saturday. Talk
Yeah.
about some
We'll
studs.
always update. Well, because we got SmackDown too this week, so we'll give a recap whenever the shows are.
Yeah. And we're
But
kind of figuring out.
we do have to acknowledge uh Tribal Chief. Um
He's stuck.
no, no, no. That's not what I
There
was
he's
acknowledging.
back. All right, there he is.
That's
Thank
not
you,
what I was
ladies and gentlemen.
that's not what I was acknowledging. This month is awareness month.
Yes. On a
So
serious tip.
we kinda no, it's not drunk driving month, but it's just awareness, like be aware. Again, keeping that phone line open. Um,
100%.
it's what the suicide prevention month
It is suicide. I think it's either suicide
awareness.
prevention or suicide awareness month.
What are they? What are that's like lime green or something like that?
I believe it's either lime green. Um, it's not. Is it? It's not blue and purple, is it?
I to be honest, I don't know.
Give me the old look real quick. That way we're
Okay.
politically correct. We don't want
Awareness.
anybody. But as Eric's looking, yes. By the time this airs, I believe it's Suicide Awareness or Prevention Day. Is actually I think it's Jane's birthday. I think it's on the 10th. So, um, like Eric said, you if you know somebody, or he's gone. But if you know somebody who's going through the shit, he back.
It it
Um,
is it is September 10th, so it'll already be passed by the time you see this. I mean that's just when they call it Awareness Day,
yeah.
but obviously um
Did it show Keller's?
honor it's yellow.
Okay.
There was a yellow ribbon,
Okay.
so
Whatever.
that's all. But I mean, I don't want to say the word honor. I know that's the wrong word, but It's
Yeah.
just you. And I don't know what word to use. It's all month long.
Yeah.
Like I almost said celebrate. We're not celebrating, but
No, it's like just acknowledging it. We'll just put it
yeah,
that way.
yeah,
But um, I mean, I haven't really had anybody that has did anything like that. Um, I honestly don't know. I don't think you have. Um,
no,
well, except me. Yeah. So, in honor of that, this month, that day, which now passed because this comes out on a Friday. So, I figured um, I would just kind of tell my story. And if it reaches one person, that's great. That's fantastic. Um, if, it reaches a whole bunch of people, that's phenomenal. But the thing is, at the end of the day, if you're really going through shit and your outlook is that way and you really contemplate it, you really got to think about it's life is not better without you in it. Like if you're not in it and you think life is better, you need to really consider what the hell you're doing before you do it. Because you can have a lot of influences. Like on my part, it was I just gone through a breakup. I was at a real terrible low point in my life. Um, I was trying to focus on a new job, but stressing out over stuff with my ex. Um, and it just seems like no matter what I was doing, I wasn't getting nowhere. So in in the cusp of all that, I was I was drinking heavily, um, doing drugs that a lot more drugs than I should have. I mean, it was a downward spiral, and hanging out with the wrong fucking people you think are your friends that aren't really your friends. They're only there to be yes people and to be people that are there when you have something or you need something or you have money or etc. or something like that. But it was one night, and it is March 19th, 2019, and I was out. Not for the sanctity of this, no names are going to be brought up in this story. I was out, and well, first I was at my father's house, and I didn't want to go out. But then it was like, no, come on out. We'll have a great time. These people are there. These people are there, etc. Fuck it. I already started kind of drinking, so I figured, what the fuck. So I take my dad's car down, and I'm out with people that are just fucking doing drugs, drinking hard, and we're going to an after hour spot. And I mean, I'm fucking gone. I mean, out to this day, I shouldn't have drove. I shouldn't have been in a car. I had no fucking purpose on being there. That's just hands down. So, sidebar, if you judge me for this, I just want you to know that I'm a good 3 years sober off drugs. I still drink once in a while, but it's nothing to the chaos that was that night. So, anywho, the amount of I just put it on the table. The amount of cocaine that was going through my system wasn't compensating for the alcohol that was in my system. I fell at the after hours spot. And when I thought was my friends weren't really my friends, they laughed. So I got pissed. So I went to get up again, sit down, do what I had to do, whatever. I fell again. So when they laughed, I got fucking irate. Like, I thought you're supposed to be my friends. You're supposed to be cool with me. You know what? Fuck this shit. And I end up leaving this after hour spot and walking from 7th Street in downtown Pittsburgh all the way to 36th Street in lower 10th Ward or 9th Ward, Lawrenceville. or would that be sixth ward? I don't know. It's on the cusp. I think it's more
Yeah.
ninth. Um, and I was so gone in my mind from the drugs and alcohol. I started walking down the street to what I thought was my great grandmother's house, like if she was still living there. Meanwhile, she's been gone since 1998. And I was sitting on her like little, she had a little concrete stoop. I was sitting there and that's when the first thought popped in my head. I was like, you know, given my breakup, what I'm going through, like all this shit I'm dealing with, like the world don't need me. The world doesn't need me. Like I don't give a fuck. And I started having this like self doubt, and then I started really just it was it was really stuck on that the world's better without me kind of feeling. So I started walking further down from her house where there are live active train tracks. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It sounds so stupid now, but it's so much easier to talk about now than 4 years ago. Like or almost five. It's a whole lot easier. But the thing was, I'm going to let the fucking train hit me. That was it. I really was going to just let it happen. Bye bye, birdie. But I started walking on there. I'm at the fucking train tracks. And something in me stopped me. I don't know what it was because I was fucking ready. I was just ready. And I went to go push forward, and it's like my feet would not go towards the track. Like I was there, like I'm here, the track's fucking here. And I just couldn't. And for some sober moment in my fucking life, I thought of my son. Like how would he feel knowing his dad is dead? Because his dad couldn't handle the pressure, or his dad isn't the hero that he thinks he is. And like some people say, they take the easy way out. Yeah, sure, that is easy, but it's also harder in the long run. And then I thought about him, and then what's funny is I thought about him and all the struggles he would go through, and I backed up. And then I started thinking about my family, my parents, and I backed up more, and I just realized I couldn't do it. And then like I cried because a lot of emotions are going on. Plus, I'm not in the right mental state of mind. So I feel everything kind of wearing down on me. And I realized, hey, Paul, you're on fucking 36th Street. And old me started to kick in, and people that have known me and partied with me forever know that I'm going to start getting tired. I need somewhere to sleep, like instantaneously. So my jackassness decided that I was going to just start pulling on car handle doors until one of them opened. And luckily, this is after I decided not to do this. I opened this Subaru door conveniently right across in the parking on the street from where my great grandmother lived. I wake up the next day, all hell broke loose. Literally, all hell broke loose. I come to, and first thing I'm going is like, where the fuck am I? Like, I had no recollection of really even getting in the car to this day. I still don't remember getting in that car. Um, the cops were never called on me. I got comfy. I took my shoes off and fucking chilled and fucking fell asleep. And then I was like, I'm in somebody's Subaru. Did somebody pick me up? Who the fuck picked me up? Then I'm looking around, and I'm like, I guess I'm trying to compartmentalize like where the fuck I am. And I'm not processing it fast enough because I'm also trying to get the fuck out of the car. So I'm looking, it's a female's car, and I'm like, did a female pick me up? How did I get here? I still couldn't figure out how I got there. Till later I figured out like my shoes were all fucking dirty. And then like I think I fell. I believe I did because my leg was all banged up. But I think that was from the initial fall at the club.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I'm still. It felt like 3 hours, but it was like 30 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it felt so long. But then all of a sudden, I was like, get the fuck out of the car, Paul. Like, get out of the car. So I fucking got my shoes on. And at the same time, I'm trying to find my phone to try to get a hold of somebody. My girlfriend at the time is trying to call me. You're trying to call me. My parents are trying to call me. My work's trying to call me. Everybody. And something sparked in my sister and her boyfriend at the time to drive down by where I was. And she called me and I answered and she was like, "Where the fuck are you?" And I was like, "I'm by Grandma Kay's house." Bang, there we're there. But while that was happening, while that was happening, you're on a fucking manhunt for me. Um,
Yeah, I got the call that no, I didn't get a call. Your sister messaged my wife, or she saw her that she was on Facebook, and she said, "Hey, we can't find Paul. Like, yeah, can you um call me?" She gives her a call. She's like, "What's up?" She's like, "We can't find Paul. Was he out with Eric?" And that she was like, "No, Eric's just getting out of the shower. Like he was home all night." And I'm like, "What's going on?" She was like, "They can't find Paul." I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean you can't find Paul?" So I try to call you, not answering. And I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't talk to you that night. Like I didn't know you had went out. So it wasn't even like I could say, "Oh, he was out with so and so," or went here or there.
yeah.
Like I didn't know you had went out either. And so then I did something that I didn't want to do, but I did. I called your ex. And I was like, "Listen, have you talked to Paul at all?" Like, knowing that you might have talked to her in regards to Xander or something dumb, like, "You heard from Paul?" She's like, "No." She says, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "I think so. I was just trying to track him down." Like, I didn't want to give her worries or details, like, because we didn't know what was going on yet. And then your mom calls me. And I'm like, "Mom does not fucking call me unless it's an emergency."
Right.
I answer the phone and she's hysterical. And I'm like, "Mom, what's wrong?" And she's like, "We can't find him. We can't find him. Where is he?" And I'm like, "I don't know. He wasn't with me. Like, I don't know." So I look at Donna and I'm like, "I got to go." She's like, "What?" And it was like, yeah, it was like a Sunday morning. Was it a Sunday morning?
Monday
It
morning.
was it a Monday morning?
It Yeah, it was a weekday morning because I was supposed to go to work the next day.
Okay. So I remember it was early in the morning and we get up and I'm like, I gotta go help them. They can't find Paul." She's like, "What?" And I'm like, yeah, like Donna's now doesn't know what's going. Like she knows, but is like now shit's in her head. And I'm like, "Fuck, you're on our phone plan." So I'm like, I can track his phone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me find his phone. So I call your mom and Donna is still on the phone with your sister, and we're like, "I'm gonna track his phone. I'll let you guys know what I can find out. I'll call you back." So I start tracking your phone like a little fucking kid, and it says that your phone was pinging over from like Reserve Shaler, and I'm like, "What the fuck is he doing over there?" And I'm like, "I mean, your dad's is close to that area, but not enough." Like I'm like, "That's still out of the way."
Mhm.
So I remember this. Like I finally your Noel gives me your dad's phone number, and I call and I'm like, "Senior, it's Eric." He's like, "What the fuck did he do?" And I'm like, once again, wasn't with him. No idea. Like everybody just because me and you were always the get like you know what I mean, like they
Yeah.
just always assume
Yeah.
when we went out when you went out, you were going out with me most of the time.
Yep.
Or I was with you, or at least knew where you were going.
Correct.
And I'm like, don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm like, where Ian's at? Like, I'm gonna try and meet up with Ian. I'm trying to. His phone is pinging in the Shayla Reserve area. He goes, "That's funny you say that." He goes, "Meet me, Millville Police, right now." And I'm like, on my way. I fly from South Hills over to Millville Police Department. Unfortunately, I know where that is. um, so I get there, meet your dad, and I've never seen your dad worry like that. You know what I mean? I mean, the many years I've known that man,
Yeah.
he's just like it was his typical senior. He was worried, but boy, was he! I'm gonna fuck if he's not dead, I'm gonna fucking kill him. I'm like,
My mom was the same way.
yeah, I know. I'm like, let's just find him first, and then we'll deal with the rest later. So like, I'm trying to be like the voice of reason for your family because again, everybody was hysterical. Like it was just nuts, and so me, and then your other sister and her boyfriend, we ping your phone to that. We go to what we think is where your phone is. It's in the middle of the fucking woods. And we're like, oh my God, did he fucking put himself in a ditch? Like, did the car wreck? Or like, 'cause
Yeah.
at this point, too, nobody knows where your car is.
Yep.
So we're like, okay, is he in the woods? So your sister, in, I think it was Crocs or flip flops, just fucking beelines it for the woods.
And
And,
burgundy slippers.
oh, yeah, yes. And then her boyfriend follows along. And then this dude comes out of the house on this street. We were on a dead end street. And he was like, can I help you guys? And I'm like, by any chance, like I showed him a picture. I was like, "Did you see this dude walking around here, or maybe a car come through this area that doesn't?" I was like, "Where did he's kind of a missing person?" And he was like, "He goes, I didn't see anything." He goes, "I've been up all night. Like he worked like a graveyard shift or something. So like he was like, I didn't see anything." I'm
Mm.
like, "Okay, thanks for your help." So finally, we get your sister out of the woods, and then we were meeting up with your mom,
Well,
and
didn't it ping that I was like under something?
no, it said no. It told us you were in the woods.
Yeah. She's because I thought it was like I was she had you lift up like it looked like a canoe or something. That's what she was
No,
saying.
no, they went. I never went into the woods with them. So unless her and her boyfriend were looking under logs or some shit, like I don't know.
Right.
I just knew that it was like telling us that it was that direction. So then we thought maybe we had to go back up to the reserve side, off of Mount Troy Road, kind of like by Reserve Elementary School, and that's where I met up with your dad again and both of your sisters. And we were like, okay, if we look from this area, that's just a straight hillside down. So again, if his car went over the hillside, I think there was a fence there. We would have like the car would have had to have gone through this fence or
Hmm.
whatever. So we were like, you know, there's no way he like we didn't know. We didn't know. And then your mom finally made it into the city and she called your sister and was like, I'm at the Rite Aid in Lawrenceville. I don't know why she went. I don't know what she went there for. But so everybody just was like, all right, let's just go meet there and intervene and like try and figure this out. And then that's whenever so we were in Lawrenceville at the Rite Aid, and that's when that weird feel that thing happened that with Noelle. She just went and just she found you down on the street when she finally got a hold of you. But she was in her own car and shit with yeah, I don't remember who it was at the time, but like
I believe it was Will.
yeah, we didn't know that she had finally gotten a hold of you. So I'm standing there with your mom who's hysterical, your dad who's got this look of worry on his face, but it's still MFing you. And then your sister's hysterical. Your other sister's hysterical. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, guys, like I'm pulling up my phone and the map thing, the tracker map, and I'm like, this is what it's telling me. But then once your sister found you and brought you to us and everything calmed down, I think it was either on my way home or once I got home, I realized that we were going to the dead center of the radar circle that it was telling me your phone was pinging from.
Yeah.
That dead center was the tower, which the tower was what was in the middle, not in the middle of the woods, but in that area that we were thought we were looking,
Mhm.
and that your phone was pinging off of that tower, and the radius of the blue circle or whatever that says the vicinity of that, like where your signal was coming from, it fucking went across the river and over to Lawrenceville and it covered that little bit of expanding area where your sister fucking
Right.
picked you up at. And I was like,
Right.
so he was over there the whole fucking time, but because we were reading the map wrong and reading the center dot, which was the tower,
The
and
tower.
not the radius of the tower or of the signal from the tower. So I was like, so whatever led your mom to go to that Rite Aid, and we just all decided to meet there, like it was weird. Like it was a weird
Was crazy.
situation. And I mean, and like, and then once your sister brought you over, your mom cried and yelled at you. Your sisters cried and yelled at you. I called you a prick and said I'll talk to you later. I let you, like, I knew there was nothing more I could say or do because your mom and them were on your ass. And I just remember your dad looking at you going, "Get the fuck in the car." And you were like, "Well, guys, I'm grounded for the next month. I'll talk to you later." Like, and you just got, like, you knew, like, you just knew your dad was laying into you once you got in that car. And, and then, but like, and then I talked to you a little bit later that day. You did call me and, like, I want to say apologize. Like, I think you were still not in shock, but you were still like, the story wasn't clear of what happened.
Yeah.
Like, you were still trying to puzzle piece everything from the night before.
But if you
So,
recall, before I left you that first time when they brought you in, you and Donna, I hugged you and I was like,
yeah.
"I'm sorry." I did.
No,
I was like,
you did.
I
You
was like, "I'm
did.
sorry."
You did.
And
And,
then that's
but
when I was like, "I will fucking tell you later."
yeah. And I mean, and you were still, when I talked to you, you were still again in your own mind trying to piece what happened.
What the fuck happened?
And I was like, kind of like it is what it is. You'll figure it out at some point. Like, I mean, you were safe. Everything was good. Like, I don't want to say I didn't care, but like, I didn't need the backstory. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it was, kind of like it is what it is. Um, and then you finally, it was the next day or two, like, figured everything out. Like, told me, yes, I went out with this group of people. This is where we were. You told me about the whole, like, being fucked up and falling and all that stuff. And then you purposely left out the railroad tracks part. Like, which at the time, like, it wasn't like your story was like, oh, that don't make sense. Like, it makes sense that you were like, oh, I got fucked up really bad, like, did this, did that, and I walked. You were like, I just walked until I found the car and I fell asleep in a car. And I'm like, all right, like, who, I wasn't questioning that. Like, I'm like, all right, that's some shit. Yeah, like, okay. Like, so it wasn't until, I don't even know, it was probably a year late. Like, it was a long time later that you told me, like, hey, that night there's more to the story. And I'm like, okay, like, again, like, like, okay, like, you know, what you got? If you want to tell me, you can. I'm assuming you are if you're telling me, like, hey, there's more to the story.
Yeah.
And then you told me, and I was like, I think I, again, called you a prick or whatever, and just, I don't want to say it is what it is, but it was just like at that point, you know what I mean? Like, you were already like, things at that point were, and I guess too, like, you were in a better place. You were, I don't want to say comfortable with talking about it, but like, you knew there were certain people that you felt needed to know.
Yeah.
Um, so it was like, and again, like, your life was changing in that way. Like, you started getting the house and the work and everything was like, your just life was just going in the right direction at that point. So it was kind of like, okay, like, I appreciate you telling me, but let's leave that in the past. Like, that night's done and over with. Like, we can't go back and change it. You
Nope.
can only change what happened after, and you are. So it's like, okay, like, so again, we've never really talked about it again since then till now. So it's like, but like you said, it's just in this state of, I mean, I guess you could say the world, but I mean, we only see what really happens here in the U.S. more than anything. Like just the suicide rate is just so crazy anymore, and it's kind of. I think that it's a little coincidental, and I'm not trying to change the subject here. We'll get back to it in a second, but it's like you- one of the things is you see it a lot more with celebrities. Like a lot more celebrities are taking their own lives for whatever reason. You know, they have their own demons and stuff that they face with, and it's like me and you were kind of talking about this over the weekend and stuff. But it was like, if anybody's a fan or knows or cares, real quick, like so, Lincoln Park's back, and they have a new, not a lead singer, but they have a new singer. So they have the one guy, Mike, who does all like the hip hop rapping lyrics, and then they had Chester Benningfield, who did all of the singing and stuff, like the rock music stuff, and he committed suicide. And it was like, I think for them announcing their new singer and that they have a new album coming out, they're working on a new album and a new tour and stuff, like for them to kind of announce that during this month, I think was kind of symbolic for them because
I'd say so.
it was kind of like them saying like, hey, like we're at peace with what happened. It's been for them. I didn't realize it was this long because it still seems fresh, but that was
Right.
7 years ago that he died.
That's crazy.
So it's like, yeah, like it still seems like it was maybe only a year ago. I mean, even like your story, like I still remember that day, like very vividly. Like I could still picture meeting your dad, meeting your mom, running around with your sisters, like the different checkpoints that we were all meeting at. Like I picture what happened at every single one of those spots, and then it was just like, um, it doesn't seem like it was that long. Like I don't know. Like when you say that it was 2019, I was like, well, fuck yeah. And then I guess too something else that we all do is we're like, oh yeah, that was before COVID, which COVID made everything seem so much longer away. But
Right.
it's just like, but back to like your situation though, it was like, you know, it was something that happened, and that's your situation to talk about and stuff like that. So it was, if it was like if I was with you and you were talking about it, or something, and you wanted me to chime in, I had no problem chiming in like I am now, like with my aspect of that day. But it
Right.
was like, you know, it's just crazy that, it's happening. Like it's sad and crazy that it's happening more and more. So it's like you said, like just to share your story, just to even if it helps somebody. So like
Right.
anybody that listens or watches this, like if you ever feel that way, like that's kind of one of the reasons we do this. I know you started doing it as the audio podcast just as a way to vent and get your feelings out there because of that day. Like
Yeah.
instead of bottling everything up, you just want to talk and kind of get it out. And then like for me, like I was going through some hard times, maybe not as bad as that, but like I was going through some rough times with my own life and stuff. And then you're like, dude, just come on, like it's just so that's how this thing kind of started with me and you first, and then me being added on down the road. But it's like
Yep.
if anybody out there ever feels that way and you want to talk about your story or just talk about a situation in general that might make you feel that way, like just hit us up on our socials or hit us up on here, like, comment on the video. Like, we have no problem like having you on to talk about it. And then like we could always record the episode. And if it, even if us just recording it and just talking helps you, we don't have to post it if you don't want us to.
Correct.
I mean, that's your privacy. But if but again, if you feel like in Paul's case that posting your story might help somebody, then by all means we'll post it, but we don't have to. But if you just even want to come on and just chat with us and just do a recording just to vent,
Just to
air
say you
out,
did it, like that's kind of
yeah,
what the whole premises of Cho Thoughts was after that day, I had way too much shit bottled up to like put it in a journal or something. I was like, I hear podcaster like a thing. I always wanted to try one,
yeah,
and fuck, look where we are now.
yeah.
So
So I mean, we're trying to expand it out and make it something more than that, but we don't want to forget that that's where this stemmed from, and that's always like a purpose and goal of ours is to help others out there. So it's like,
Yep.
you know, whether you're having a bad day or, or we've always said, like, if you have a business or something you want to promote and you want to come on and chat, whatever, that's fine. Like, we, as you guys know, we're cool with it.
Right.
And by no means are we counselors or therapists that we're going to be like, well, this is how you should think and this is what you should do. No, we're going to
No.
listen. We might like give you advice, like try to give you advice or just, give a kind word or whatever, but we're not going to judge you for one.
Yeah.
And we're not going to try and like boss you around and tell you what to do. Like, it's just, if you just need a place to
Vent.
vent it out. So, I mean, yeah, that was kind of, you know, a rough day. And it just seems like more and more people know somebody that are going through those kind of days. And again, it's a shame that that's the state of the world that we're in. And then sometimes these situations don't get caught in time. And then you have an even sadder situation.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just like, thankfully yours wasn't the sadder situation.
Right. Or else, think about it. Like I think about it once in a while. Like I don't dwell on it or anything like that. But I always look at the if I wasn't here, I'd miss this. Like
Yeah.
that happens a lot. I think homecoming hit me a little bit because I would have missed it. Or like my Gram's passing or something like that. Or,
Yeah.
just little things.
Donna tells me that all the time. Not all the time. I don't want to make it sound like, but like, when I'm having a down moment or like I'm just dealing with a lot mentally, you know, I don't want to say I make it as a joking comment, but sometimes I just say it just to get it out. I'll be like, I just feel like you guys would be better off without me. I kind of like that thought you had. And unlike you, like, I know I'm not going to act on it. It's just words I just need to try and not try, but just words I just get out of my mouth. And then Donna yells at me and she's like, how, like, why would you think that's easy? Like you said, it's not easier. Like, ending your life might be easier for you mentally. Like,
At the
you think that,
time, it feels like it's
but
easy.
you have to stop and think of all the other people that it affects. Like,
110%.
and that's where, again, where we kind of let off with the hockey player dying and stuff like that. Like, you, if you're gonna get behind the wheel drunk, like, not just for your own safety, but all the other people's safety that you could affect. Like, you killed two dudes, you ruined multiple family lives. Like, like, it's just so, on that same sense, like trying to kill yourself, like, isn't it's not gonna it might solve your problem in the moment,
It solves your
but
problem.
yes, but that just causes a ton more problems for those around you that even in that moment you might not think they love you or care about you, but they do.
That's what you have to realize too, is you might not think that was the hardest thing is like you might not think they give a shit now, but it is a like first you think as I thought about the ripple effect, which is just
Yeah,
what you explained.
yeah,
Like, okay, if I'm not here, how's Eric gonna take it? How's my parents gonna take it? How's my son gonna take it? Hell, even how's my ex gonna take it? Like, you just start thinking further and further out. And then it's like, then you do the other one. Well, I would miss this and this and this and this. But it's like at that point in time, you think you'd feel better. But then if you take that moment to think of who else you're going to hurt
yeah,
in the process of what you're leaving behind, because you can't take it, or it's a bad day, or shit is pouring on you too thick, or you feel like you're on the lowest of the lows and you can't get up, and excuse me, whatever trials and tribulations you are facing,
mhm,
it's not worth it.
yeah,
It's really not worth it. And then like, sure, I was swayed by other things to get me there, of course, but I think that just impacted it more because obviously subconsciously I was thinking it.
Yeah, the thoughts were in your head. It was just that
Everything else was kind of
the
pushed.
intake products of that night brought it more, yeah, forefront to your brain and to your thought process, and made it more of a realistic thing than you might have had it. You had it back far in the filing cabinet, but now all of a sudden that's the first folder
That was the first thing that was there.
on your mind. So yeah, like, I mean, yeah, that doesn't. I mean, that's another thing with with suicides. I mean, I'm not trying to speak on everything, but like, you know, a lot of times drugs and stuff are like severe alcohol like plays a major part in people that take their lives. Like, and that, yeah, like you said, it doesn't help the situation any.
Nah,
So
at all. But the thing is, like to Eric's point too, what he was saying is this it doesn't even have to be us. Like take a minute and realize who's really like there. Like who's key. And you're like if you don't think this part of the circle is gonna listen, close your circle, make it smaller. You'll start realizing who the key people are that you never thought would be, but then you also knew they would be. But
mm,
you also realize that those key people are kind of the ones that kept you alive. You just and it's not hard to reach out to somebody, anybody, including the suicide line. Like
yeah,
if you feel like if you can't manage with anybody else, call that suicide line. Like somebody will take the damn time out to stop you from doing something you will end up regretting, or at least you will not want to put a burden on your family and friends when you're gone, or your loved
yeah,
ones, or your kids, or whatever. Anybody that you matter to that you think you don't matter to, you fucking matter to them. Like,
yeah.
there's no point in doing it. Believe me.
No,
So I figured it's that month. I'm going to share my story, and I hope it reaches somebody. Um, but I'm going to end on that note. Um, I did want to touch about it and talk about it and express my story. Also, get Eric's point from the other side. Just as somebody that was going to and somebody that could affect watching everything else and as you're doing it. So, but um, Saturday we'll have our episode and we'll do a more positive one, and it'll be live from the boat, and we
be
will
on a boat.
we'll be on a boat. Um,
It'll
it'll
be
be
fucking
live
mermaids.
recorded there, but we'll post it probably while we're in the game, maybe, depending on if we're fighting Mountaineer fans.
I will throw down on some WVUs. Let's
Right,
go.
but again, so in a way, be thankful that I stuck around and didn't want to do that because now you have this podcast. So it's a blessing and a curse. Like it was bad that day, but a lot of good has come out since. And I'm thankful for everybody, everything, and everyone that was involved in my life right now. And I couldn't ask for the best group of people in my life. So I thank everybody for watching. I thank y'all for listening. And we will see y'all on Saturday. For Big E, I am the Big Cho. And we'll catch y'all this week later. Bye.
Later.